Char Margolis, Char Communications Incorporated, and CharVision LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on CharVision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is CharVision. Hi, everybody. My name is Char Margolis, and I am so excited that you are viewing CharVision. Thank you for being here. I have some wonderful guests today, and I'm honored to have all of them here. And we have a really interesting topic that I think we all need to really take in. It's about spirituality in religion. You know, I'm a deep believer in prayer because prayer is positive thinking, and positive attracts positive and negative attracts negative. So any kind of prayer and healing is positive energy that comes to all of us. So we've got some great guests. My first guest is Dorothy Lucy, who actually is most well known for 17 years on Good Day LA and has been a wonderfully dear friend. Well, I actually met her on Attitudes on Lifetime Cable years ago. But what people don't know about Dorothy is that she is a philanthropist, and she has spent the last, 5 years, she'll tell us about it, 6 years, helping children in Africa. No, okay, keep going. Okay, see, I screwed up already. This is good.
I can jump in.
Okay, you
jump
can.
in?
Why don't you tell us what you do?
You did not screw up.
Why don't you tell us what you do?
Okay, I will, but first of all, I just have to say the first time I met you, you said, hi, you're not going to be here very long. And it was my first day on that job, and you were right. But then she did say to me, something better is coming. And again, you were right. Something better came. But I think those were the first words you said to me.
And so did you get a better job,
yes,
right?
You're right. You're always right.
And how many times did we talk about that job?
You are the reason I have my baby. You and
I
my
think
husband
your
and
husband,
my
I think David had a lot to do with
and
it.
other than that, you are the because I was having trouble getting pregnant, and you gave me a little hint.
Oh,
so
tell us about your charity work, because it's amazing what you do, and people really don't know this about you.
For the past couple of years, I've been unemployed, so I had time to do charity work.
Okay.
I'm on the board of 2 different charities, the Good News Foundation. That sounded so much better than it is. The Good News Foundation and Mending Kids. And with Mending Kids, as you nicely mentioned, I've done 5, soon to be 6 mission trips. I just volunteer on medical missions.
Wait.
I mean, I'm not doing very much.
Wait. I called you up one day, and you said, oh, yeah, I have a guest at my house. I said, well, who is it? Well, she just had an operation.
And then
what did she have done?
Sometimes
tell us
kids
what
come
she had.
to this country and stay with host families. She had her this beautiful 12-year-old girl from El Salvador, Sandra. Her hand was just one piece like this. Mm-hmm. But she came here for surgery, and Mending Kids paid for the whole thing. She stayed with me for 4 months. Listen to me. She stayed with my family. It wasn't just me. And we sent her home with fingers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's so lovely. And when you meet these kids now, you're Christian, right?
Yes. I was
but I went to your son's bar mitzvah, so tell me a little bit about
I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
Well, my son calls himself a Jupiterian or a Presbyterian because my husband is Jewish.
Okay.
I am now a Presbyterian, although I was raised Catholic. And my mother's just happy I go to some church. So in the beginning, she had a little trouble with the Presbyterian thing, but now she's fine with it. And my son, who you know very, very well.
Since he's a little boy.
He is, and now he's 17, and he went to prom last week.
Oh, my God.
He is a Christian. He goes to church with me, but he wanted to do that for his father. He wanted to do the bar mitzvah, I think, because he knew it was important to his dad.
And
so he's a little bit of everything, but
he's got all his bases covered.
Yes.
And I think
he's going to heaven no matter what.
I think the more we can have somebody watching over us from a good energy and a good place in heaven, the better off we all are, right? So, okay.
We moved his bar mitzvah so that he could go to church camp. We had to move the day of it. So he's definitely a little of everything.
But that's good, because then he won't be prejudiced.
Yeah. Oh, I hope not.
You know, that's a great way to raise a child, I think. And do you want to is there like a website or something you can give us about your charity?
Oh, yeah, mendingkids.org.
Okay, mendingkids.org. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, and people can send money?
If they would.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Please.
Okay, so talking about spirituality and religion, I have another guest here that I want to introduce all of us to. Her name is Sister Jolene Santiago, and she has an MA in Formative Spirituality and Counseling. And why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, and also what your motto is? You have a special motto.
A motto?
Yeah.
You mean that quote I have?
Yeah, your quote.
I am a sister of social service over 50 years, and my quote that you're referring to, I forgot I'd sent that to you. It's live in such a way that those who don't know God but know you come to know God because they know you.
Oh.
And I teach. I've taught for 22 years, 13 and 14-year-olds, and I think it's a little easier than this gig, but that's beside the point.
No, are you kidding? You're teaching middle schoolers? Nothing harder.
High school. But I was drawn to religious life when I was 5 years old. It was a positive, negative, positive kind of thing. I was educated by nuns in Hawaii, very, very strict. They're called Madams of the Sacred Heart now, but very, very strict. And my kindergarten teacher, I was 4, caught me doing something. I was playing, and I lied when she said, "Who's doing that?" And I said, and I didn't say anything, and then she caught me, and she says, "The devil visits bad little girls who lie." And it freaked me out. And that night, I really believed the devil visited me and scared the bejeebies out of me.
What happened?
Well, I was sleeping, and I saw this hand come at me. I was on the bottom of a double-decker bunk bed, and this hand was coming at me. And I'm 4. I have a very live imagination. But this was a real hand. It was coming at me. And I crawled up, and I crawled up, and I crawled on my pillow, and it was just going to get me. And I screamed bloody murder, and I woke my sister, who was on the top, and my mother came flying in, and I confessed everything.
Oh.
And she says, "I'll take care of that." Well, the next day she went and took care of that nun. But that was the same nun that also took us to church. And the sense of the presence of God in the church and praying, I've always felt at peace with. And the sense of evil and the devil was, I never wanted that again. And I chose God. And I said, that's where I'm going to go. And
when did you enter the convent?
I entered when I was 22. And when I found the community that worked with people where they were, because I really truly believe that's where God is where the people are and those who are searching. And the Holy Spirit is for the Sisters of Social Service, the Holy Spirit is our guide, our mascot, our guru, we get the gifts. And I was just drawn to that openness. It wasn't so much the institutional church as such. It's a Roman Catholic church, but the Holy Spirit was the center, and that's where I feel I live, in that center with the Spirit, and that's where God, I think, lives with me. And that's what I teach my kids.
That's so beautiful. Do you ever watch Call the Midwife?
No.
You need to watch that. It's on PBS. It's it's great. Do you know this gentleman sitting next to you?
Hamid? Oh,
he's very
Dr.
handsome.
Soboh. Yes.
He's Dr. Ahmad Soboh, and he's the religious director of the Chino Valley Islamic Center. And I'm honored to have you here. And could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
The honor's all mine, Char. It's really a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you.
I come from a immigrant background. I migrated to the United States about, I would say, 15 to 20 years ago. I come from a very interesting town. I'm not sure if you heard about it, called Bethlehem, and where I was raised up in a very mixed community. Got to visit churches and mosques, see people from different backgrounds, Muslims, Christians, and Jews. And I got trained to be a dentist at a young age. I was practicing dentistry in Bethlehem at the age of 22. And at some point, I had a rabbi, a nun, and an imam waiting in the waiting room of the dental office. And all what they care about, how much it's going to hurt to pull out a tooth. So got that kind of interaction. And then when I came to the States, came mainly to pursue my higher education, got that done, and then found out the need in the Muslim community for people to teach about their faith. And that was the case about 15 years ago. And I found myself dragged into teaching and giving talks and sermons and leading prayers. And it was maybe one of the best things in my life that I've been dragged into. So decided to cut my hours of pulling teeth out and then focus more on helping people reach a higher level of spirituality, strengthen their bond with God, and building understanding and bridges between different faith communities. In a nutshell, that's what I have to say about myself.
That's so wonderful, because God knows our world needs somebody who's going to try to bring everybody together.
Indeed.
We need more people like that. All of us need to be open-minded. You know, I always, even in the profession that I do, and I've been doing this for over 40 years, and I'm an intuitive, and I'm a psychic, and I talk to the spirit world, and I teach people about their own intuition. And I've said so many times that I'd rather be friends with a kind, respectful person than someone who believes in psychic phenomena. I would, because it's about the goodness within our hearts that matter. So now we have someone on Skype. His name is Rabbi Brian, and he's the founder of the religious Outside the Box, and was born in Manhattan. And are you there, Brian?
I'm here. Thank you, Char, for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So happy that you're here. And could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you said, I also grew up on a small island, but mine was the small island of Manhattan. I grew up there. I was exceedingly rational and logical, and I went to college thinking I was going to become an architect, and I minored in mathematics. I left college and felt a pull that led me to rabbinical school, which was bizarre. And I always thought I would drop out of rabbinical school every one of the 5 years, but I didn't. And I stayed, and I got ordained as a rabbi. And after working as a rabbi for a number of years, I dropped out of organized religion because it didn't make sense to me that God would play teams. That there would be God, and I felt that my job there at the synagogue was to promote one particular flavor of, this is what you need to do. And I left and started something called Religion Outside the Box, and the whole mission is to empower adults to have an adult relationship with God. How that makes sense to them, whether they're Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, means nothing. The labels mean nothing to me, except it gives us a place to start. So that's how I find myself here.
That's beautiful, really, truly beautiful. So, okay, well, let's start with our first question. And anyone who wants to just jump in. How would you define religion?
Well, I'm going to leave that to you guys. You're more the experts than
Okay,
I am.
Dr. Soboh.
Well, religion, in my own understanding, I mean, you can go to Wikipedia and find a long explanation for the word, but not from a vocabulary, but from the term itself. For me, it means your relationship with your Creator, and all the set of beliefs and principles that comes with that. And I look at it as it's something needed in our lives, just as food is needed in our lives, because we are a product that was made or manufactured by God. And who knows better how can we live our lives than God, the manufacturer. So he provided for us these kinds of recommendations, instructions, sets of beliefs that will help us go through this journey we call life, to enjoy it, have a good relationship with people around us, good relationship with our own inner bodies, inner selves, and that's how I look at it.
I think religion, well, we've got the big religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism. I think it's structure. It's almost institutionalized. It's got the dogmas. It's got the doctrines. Each one has sacred scriptures. I think religion in this day and age has gotten a bad rap. It's kind of negative because it's got the structure, the dogmas, the laws, the rules, regulations, and people really truly believe it's religion that's going to damn them. And so I think it's gotten a bad rap. I feel we need some kind of religion, however you want to do it. I like what Brian is doing because we need community. People need community. They need a place to gather together and be of like minds and like hearts
feel like
and
you
like
belong
spirit.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Rabbi Brian, what do you think about that? How would you define religion?
I would have us add in a word, and to make a distinction between religion and organized religion, because we can say somebody exercises religiously, and that has nothing to do with the religion that we're talking about. Right. So there's religion and organized religion, and the major faiths are all organized religions. And I don't think there's anything wrong with an organized religion. It's an organized set of beliefs, an organized set of principles and ways to live. And there's nothing it's wonderful. But I also think that in this day and age where we have Starbucks on every corner, and everybody, when they go to Starbucks, has their very special way of ordering a macchiato, half frappa, whatever, and everyone is so specific and tailored, and that's the thing that people love, is to make it special in their own, is that there's also that for religion, and that we can have our own relationship with God outside of the way that it's on the menu. We can order off menu.
I think that makes such great sense, because in my life, I was raised with Judaism, and I respect my religion, but I have other spiritual ideas that I think are really important, like being in the white light and things like that.
Of course. That's a key within Judaism and within all of our traditions. There's these phrases that say that the true commandments of God are not above the sea, are not above the mountains that you should go up and get them. They're not below the sea that somebody should swim to get them. But the true commandments are in our hearts, or in our mouths, or in our hands, so that we can feel them, so that we can speak them, so that we can do them. The true commandments, we start with the very basic. Jesus was asked, as were other rabbis, what's the most important, and it's to love your neighbor as yourself. Not to do to someone as you would have them do to you. That's it. And
that's so important, right?
Right.
And it's what you said, Char, about you would rather somebody who is good, kind-hearted than someone who believes in psychic mediums. I'd say the same for religious. I would rather somebody who has a kind heart than somebody who's professed to be Jewish. What does that mean to me? Nothing.
Exactly.
It means nothing unless I see that they're acting with kindness and love.
Dorothy, what were you going to say?
Well, I think I was probably not a very good Catholic. I was kind of a bad Catholic. I was one of those cafeteria Catholics. I would pick and choose the things that I liked. I think I'm a much...
I don't think that makes you bad. Why is that bad?
Well, I'm just saying I wasn't a very good Catholic. I think I'm a pretty good Presbyterian. But I think it's because I finally realized as an adult that I wanted religion to help sort of facilitate my relationship with God.
Feed your soul.
Yes.
And I didn't think the Catholic Church was doing that.
Well,
but in the Presbyterian religion, I have a very direct relationship with God.
But I also think parents have a lot to do with it, and how parents raise their children. I was raised in the Jewish religion, but I begged my parents to let me go to horseback riding camp, and every Sunday morning I sang in the church choir and I sang in Vespers, and my parents sat there and I'm singing "Praise God from whom all blessings flow," and I'm singing all the church songs, and I had a great time doing it, because it's the energy in the room of bringing everyone together that was so healing. So, Brian, how would you define spirituality? Rabbi Brian, sorry.
It's okay,
We're like
it's
buds
okay.
now. Calling you by your first name without the rabbi.
It's fine. It's fine. I think the two words, religion and spirituality, should mean the same thing. In fact, if you look in the dictionaries, they do. We tend to use the word spiritual. People say, I'm spiritual but not religious, as though that would mean something when the two words are actually synonyms. But we use spiritual to mean that I have a relationship with the world, but not necessarily with an organized religion.
Okay,
and I think that's fine. I just don't. I would caution the same way. I would go. I could take care of my own teeth, but I go to a dentist who's an expert.
We've got a great dentist right here. If you ever want,
that's why I say you can also do your own spiritual work,
healing,
but you should check in with somebody.
And
check in with an expert.
Right. And Sister Jolene, what were you commenting when he was talking?
Brian, what did you say about spirituality, spiritual and religion? You said something.
That we use the word spirituality to mean not organized religion, but really they're synonyms: spiritual and religion.
I think you gotta see. You can really be a spiritual person and not be in any religion, because sure. I think all humanity has that spiritual dimension. But religion helps you to structure or helps you to divine, because I think spirituality is about your relationship with the God of your being. That's what I think. And religions have some, I don't know what you want to call it. You called it something. Doctrines, rules, guidelines.
Precepts, sure.
Yeah, to show people how, but spirituality is about being, and religion tells you how to do. That's what I think. What do you think, Ahmad?
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, based on our beliefs that religion is the big package, and inside this package there are three main components and three main relationships. Religion is there to balance those 6 things together. The three main components is the spirit, the body, and the intellect. You cannot go live a good life without balancing those 3 things. You need to educate yourself and improve the skills of your knowledge, your intellect. You need to feed your body and exercise and eat healthy and try your best to nourish that body. The same way that body needs to be nourished, the soul needs to be nourished. And that's where comes the spirituality. So it's a major part, major component of this big package that we call it religion. And all these, because if you find someone who is saying, you know what, I'm just going to be spiritual, I don't have to go to school, I don't have to eat healthy, then they live a really not complete life. At the same time, you find people, you know what, forget about this spirituality thing, forget about this intellect, I'm just going to go out and eat and enjoy and do all the stuff that...
Can you be a spiritual person without religion?
I mean, of course you can. It's just because we live in a time right now. We have to realize something. We live in a time right now that humanity reached a very advanced age, advanced level. A few thousand years ago, the things that we know nowadays are not there. So we cannot say we don't need religion, because religion came and brought all these things that we have now. Just like someone going to a PhD program saying, you know what, no need for elementary school anymore. They needed that to go and grow into what they are in right now. So religion comes to balance 3 relationships: a relationship with God, relationship with people around us, and relationship with our own inner selves. And that's where spirituality comes to be very clear.
So the thing that I find is when anybody is labeled with anything, there's always somebody who's going to be prejudiced. There's always somebody who's not going to believe, and there are a lot of people who are angry people because you don't believe or think the way they think. And so, how do we, in this crazy world of ours, teach our children to think differently? I mean, there's little kids being suicide bombers. I mean, how do we change the thinking of what's going on? I mean, our world is falling apart, and it's going to get worse. I mean, I see it. I think we all see it. I think you don't have to be an intuitive to see it?
I beg to pardon. I think that the word is much better than it used to be before. Before, if people disagreed with each other, they'd just go kill each other. Spanish Inquisition, the Crusades, and all these things that we heard about. That's the problem. We didn't have Facebook then to see it.
Right.
So nowadays, anyone sneezes somewhere around the world, you can see it right away.
That's
so
a good
you're
point.
seeing more things nowadays. The reason for these disagreements or these problems is not religion. It's social problems, political problems, poverty, dictatorship. Even if someone is an atheist, has no religion whatsoever, and you put them in the same situations, they will become suicide bombers. So my point is that we cannot blame religion for other problems. People use religion to fuel the hatred,
right?
To justify.
Because they need to label it.
Exactly. I mean,
so they'll label Israel and the Jews. They'll label Islam. They'll label they'll label whoever is convenient for them.
Right.
Yeah. And so, how does Islam and Catholicism and Judaism differ from other major faiths in the way it defines religion and spirituality? That's a
big question.
That's a big question.
Not much different.
No.
What are you looking for?
Well, do you think we covered it? Okay.
Move on to why is religion still important?
Okay. We're not gonna deal with that question anymore.
Well, I think we dealt with it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I really
There's
do.
a lot of similarities.
Yeah. You know, I was
It's nice
thinking.
to hear there are similarities.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's
Plenty
so
of.
much more
Plenty.
similarities than there are differences. And what Hamid said about when you were talking about these kids being suicide bombers and these fanatic movements and stuff, and they use the word religion. They hang on to a religion because the religion is already structured. You already have a group. But he's right. They need to be educated. They need to be guided. Everybody wants to make a difference.
So,
And if that's the way these kids are going to make a difference, they're going to do it. There's nobody to tell them, you don't have to do that to make a difference.
so Dr. Soboh, when you said we didn't have Facebook before, we didn't have social media, so people are more aware now of what's really going on in the destruction of prejudice. But what do you think is going to happen with faith in this world of technology?
Oh, I love technology. I mean,
Me too.
We are. Speaking of myself, whenever there is a new technology that comes out, we try always to use it to improve our relationship with God with it. So you have apps that talks about prayers. There are softwares. There are websites. There are Facebook pages, and people. That's one of the beautiful things of the religion, to evolve and go on and deal with the new inventions and the things that comes up in our modern days. There are certain constitutions, there are points, there are certain principles that these principles don't change, but everything else is evolving. In our religion, there is a very important traditional saying in our tradition that every 100 years, someone has to come and revive or evolve the practice of the faith. And you have the principles, you have a set of principles, build on them. So 200 years ago, they didn't have Facebook. They had other stuff. Now we have Facebook. 200 years ago, I'm sure they're going to invent something called Zuch or something like that. That's a copyrighted by them. Someone makes some. So we will still use it. Christians will use it. Jews will use it. Muslims will use it. Everyone will use those technology and those advancements to improve.
If you could, I'm a big believer in prayer and positive energy. If you can leave us with one sentence that's important or a couple sentences, what would you leave us with, Dr. Soboh?
The main sentence is, you cannot deprive your soul from a relationship with God. You cannot say, I'm just going to go on.
And Sister Jolene, same question.
One sentence.
Well, couple sentences.
Well, technology.
Yeah.
Thank you for Pope Francis. He uses it all. He's got Facebook. He's got Twitter. He's got a podcast.
He's just cool.
He's pretty popular.
He uses technology for the kingdom of God.
Rabbi Brian?
One sentence?
Yeah.
Take time to be kind and let God love you.
Oh, that's beautiful. And Rabbi Brian?
One sentence would be love.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I agree with you. Oh, this has been such a great thing. I just want one more from Dorothy.
I think the most important thing for me, and it's taken me a long time to get there, and technology doesn't help because it distracts me and I get obsessed with it. But I think having a moment with God, that's the most important thing in my day. Today, okay, I was late getting here, and I started to panic, and I pulled myself back, and I said a prayer, and the traffic opened up. I swear it did.
Diego.
Oh, you know, we do Mary Mary Parking Ferry when we need a parking space. Well, everybody, Rabbi Brian, thank you so much for joining us from, where are you now?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, you're in Oregon. Okay, so it's great to meet you, and
Thank you.
I want to thank you, and I want to thank Dr. Soboh and Sister Jolene and my dear friend Dorothy Lucy for being here and sharing your knowledge, and I hope some people at home got some healing from this time. And I also want to thank my executive producer, Alyssa Rothstein. She's wonderful, and John over in engineering, and Gina Rugolo, who's out there somewhere, who's helped put this whole thing together with us. And of course, Tony Sweet and UBN for allowing me to be here to share my view on CharVision. Thanks so much. When we come back, we will have a reading segment of me reading for somebody who I've never met before, and I will be hopefully connecting with their spirits and their loved ones in the spirit world and helping them with their intuition. And we've got an alternative healer, and I'm really excited about this because everybody. I mean, I totally believe in Western medicine, but I believe in Eastern medicine too, and I think that what holistic healers can help us and make our lives much better. I go all the time, so stay tuned, and because I think it will help you too. If you like what you've seen on CharVision, then go to char.net and book a personal reading with me, or join a group reading, or join one of my workshops where I teach you to be psychic and intuitive. Hi, we're back, and I have a very special guest, a friend of Sunny's and a friend of mine. His name is David, and he is our yoga instructor. Now, I don't go to yoga as much as I should, but a friend of mine has him come there, and they're kind enough to invite me every so often. And David's very, very gifted in yoga. I did yoga when I was 18. I don't know if I ever told you this, David.
I think you did.
Did you?
One time.
Yeah.
So.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a yoga teacher here in Los Angeles. I teach vinyasa and Ashtanga flow. I'm also an actor, but I moved here, and I found out that yoga is a great way to keep the body, strong and toned, and also flexible, as well as to change your energy to more of a positive flow in the universe. Mm-hmm. So I started practicing yoga regularly when I was 24. And when I first started, I had all these different people here in LA say, you should do yoga. You should try yoga for this, that, or the other thing. And I said, oh, men don't do yoga. That was the first thing out of my mouth. Men do not do yoga.
Well, I know you told me an interesting story, because I remember when we were doing some yoga and I said, oh, I have a slight scoliosis of the upper back. And you said,
I also have a very deep scoliosis of the upper back. I have had it since I was a kid, basically.
And what did the doctor tell you to do?
Well, my first chiropractor told me to do martial arts, Taekwondo. Mm-hmm. But then later, when I moved to LA, I had another chiropractor. He worked on me. And when I told him I was doing yoga, because I came in one time and I was doing so much better, he couldn't understand why it was. I said, oh, I've been practicing yoga. He goes, keep doing that. I love yoga, he said.
And you've never stopped?
I've never stopped unless I've been injured or just literally not had time to get to a studio.
Tell me what you think one of the greatest healing tributes to that yoga has for people.
I think the greatest healing tributes for yoga is actually the mental aspects. A lot of people, we focus on what's called asana practice, which you see in the studios, people twisting, doing push-ups, whatever. The real healing aspect of yoga is to get into the mind, to get you so focused in the moment that basically you let go of everything else you're thinking about, you're remembering, all the distractions outside, and you just get focused on the moment, and you get a chance to basically reboot your system, reboot your mind, let go, detach from all the things that are bothering you.
So in essence, we need to learn to really relax our bodies.
Yes.
But our mind is what controls our bodies.
The mind controls the body.
So we need to learn to control our mind to just totally relax. Because I notice sometimes when we do this, and like then I'll stretch, and then when I'm really relaxed, I'll be able to stretch further.
Yes. There's a saying that the body is willing, but the mind's not.
Right.
Your body is capable of all kinds of things. A friend of mine who's a trainer said if you are under anesthesia, because he used to be an EMT, you could just take someone's foot and put it behind their head. We have that flexibility, but our mind causes us to like just seize up, tighten up, not reach our full potential. That's what yoga's about.
Okay, if I ever have another facelift, whoever's doing it, if you take my leg under anesthesia and put it behind that's not going to happen.
I want a picture.
You want a picture?
I'd love a picture of that.
Oh gosh. Okay, so when you do yoga, what do you feel benefits? What benefits do you see in other people?
In other people, as a teacher or as a student?
As a teacher and as a student.
As a teacher, the benefits I see people like literally frantic. A lot of my clients are CEOs of companies. They're white collar. They have almost no time. That's why I go to them. And they just taking an hour to just disconnect, like I said, from everything. You just see the difference in their stress levels, in their physical levels. You see they're more flexible. Their health improves. I've had clients who keep coming back to me just because after they start practicing and taking time to relax, their doctors, their chiropractors, whoever told them, keep doing this, keep practicing just like I did. As a student, I would just say my energy changes. When I practice yoga, the main thing I do is I focus on anything that's not right in my life, anything that's bothering me. And I go in there and I dedicate an hour just concentrating that the problem's resolved.
How does one really learn to relax the body through the mind? Do you have any like tips or tricks? Or it's hard to do when you got so much going on, and you're worried about your kids, or you're worried about getting them to school in time, or your bills, your children, whatever, your animals, your business, your work, making money. How do you just let go and let God? How do you do that?
Start with breath control. Breathing is something we all have to do.
That's not birth control, it's breath control.
Breath control.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Breathing something we all have to do.
How do we do that?
You start by retraining the breath. You take it slower. You breathe through the nose. You make it more focused. You just focus on just relaxing. If you can control the breath, you can control your body.
Okay, so we breathe through our nose.
Yes. And you make it long.
And then you
deep.
Exhale where? Through the mouth?
Through the nose as well.
Through the nose as well?
Yeah. Unless you need a cleansing breath. Then you take a deep inhale through the nose and a deep exhale.
And why every time I think about that, I need to yawn?
Because
I'm sure everybody out there is yawning right now because that's contagious when you yawn. Why is that?
I think it's because we associate deeper breath with yawning, with being ready to go to sleep. And it is a calming effect on the body. If you're adrenaline junkie and you're going, you're going to breathe quickly. It's going to be... But if you're relaxing, you're getting... Really, we think about it as going to sleep almost. And in yoga, that is the final part. When you get to Shavasana, it's a form of sleep for a couple minutes that just sort of reboots your entire system.
And when we're done with yoga, everybody, people forget they're American or Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, whatever. Everybody's going, namaste.
Namaste.
What does that mean?
Namaste means the light in me recognizes the light in you.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps.
It's an expression of the divinity in myself recognizes the divinity in you.
Of course, when we do namaste, my friend Stuart, who has another Chihuahua, that's how I fell in love with Chihuahuas, was his, and then I got Sunny. he'll go, because the Chihuahuas do yoga with us, and he'll go, namaste, stay. And it's, okay, you got to be there to really enjoy that one. But it's funny. Okay, so it's really a spiritual thing. So I always say we live in a physical world and we live in an energetic world. So in this energetic world of yoga, how do we keep our energy to ourselves so nobody else's energy tries to invade our energy?
I honestly think the best way to do it is just not even focus on them. Don't give any attention to it. Just be focused on yourself and your mat. When you're in a yoga studio, you're on your mat. That's your space, your energetic space, and whatever you're going through has nothing to do with the mat next to you.
You know, I write about in my books that the first true love is self-love. Doesn't mean we're selfish, it just means your needs matter. So this is a time where people need to focus from within and without in their body and connect with their mind, body, and spirit. Is that what it is?
Oh, definitely. You have to love yourself and you have to honor yourself.
Now, I know there's a lot of people in California who would love to study with you. And how can they get a hold of you?
They can go to my Facebook page and they can leave me a message.
And what is your Facebook page?
Facebook.com/LA Maverick Yoga.
Okay, Facebook.com/LA
Maverick Yoga.
Okay.
And they can drop me a message there, and I'm usually pretty good about getting back to people.
That is so good. Well, I'm so grateful that you're here today and sharing this with us. And it's great to see you. And thank you for all your kindness and helping me try to stretch this old body of mine.
Oh, it's a pleasure of mine to be here with you, Char.
Thank you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.
Yep. See you soon, Char.
Thank you. We ask the universal consciousness that holds the highest spiritual power of knowledge, wisdom, and truth to guide and protect us as we communicate with our guides and angels in the spirit world and tap into the wisdom of the universe. We respect this opportunity and take full responsibility to use this not for ego or controlling others, but with the pure intention of spreading love and healing life on this earth and beyond. Is there a Catherine?
Yes.
Is that your grandma?
No.
Or your mom?
No.
Who is it?
My aunt, my father's sister.
Were you close to her?
Very.
And she's deceased, right?
Yes.
Were you her favorite, or you were very connected?
Very connected.
I really feel her here. And had she been ill?
Yes.
Did she have cancer?
Yes.
Yeah, she wants you to know that don't think of her being sick. I think it really got to you when she was sick, and she wants you to think of her happy and in spirit and in a good place. She wants to tell me about the J person. Was there a male J or G?
The only J I can think of is my...
Don't say the name.
Okay.
But is it a male J or a female J?
Boy, that is tricky.
Or you don't know anyone?
Male J.
Is there a John or John?
Mm-hmm.
Who was that?
Ex-husband, first husband.
Yours?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Did everyone tell you not to marry him, or everyone had a gut feeling, but you were so young and in love you were blinded? That makes sense. What's in New York?
In New York?
Did you ever live in New York?
Yes.
Do you miss New York?
Yes.
And were you married a second time or a third time? Just two, but you're married now. Are you here because of your husband, or are you here because of you, or both of you?
Both of us.
Because I feel like you miss New York. Do you ever visit there or work there, or do you ever work there?
I did it first when I was first out here, and now it's just visiting.
Okay. Are you considering putting on a program of an instructional program, or a program, or
or writing a book, or
all of the above,
or putting together a video, or doing something that is instrumental in teaching others or helping others?
Yes.
Do you feel like you're behind in that schedule?
Mm-hmm.
Like life is catching up with you, so you're not taking care of that because you're so busy living life and doing everything else you need to do to live, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like I'm seeing a dog, though. Did you lose your dog? Did you have like a bigger dog?
Mm-hmm.
Was it black or no,
Mm-hmm.
like black and beige or something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what are those called? The ones that have the beige eyebrows here, or I don't know, black and beige.
She was black and beige.
I see your dog, but the name's not Teddy. That's
No.
why I got mixed up, because I
It
didn't
started
know.
with the T, though.
It did start with a T.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Thank you. You're
Yeah.
helping me.
Yeah. She was my first dog.
Is there an M or N in that name, or just started
Yeah.
with T?
And
Like Tony or
Tony.
Tony? That's who it is. Thank you for
Tony.
helping me.
Tony.
Tony is here. The black and beige dog is here.
Toni. That's how we spelled it. Tony.
Your baby's here.
Mm.
I think your baby hangs out with you.
Cool.
Do you ever see things in the peripheral of your
Yes.
vision go by and you look and there's nothing there?
Yes.
That's how the animals come back to us. Is there a Bob, or
Mhm.
who's Bob?
My uncle, my father's twin brother.
Is he deceased?
Yes.
He's here. And your dad, is he deceased?
Yes.
I think he's here too. Is there a Richard, or?
Yeah.
Richard, your dad?
No.
Who's Richard?
Very close friend. Very close friend in New York.
Who's living?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm mixing people up now. See, it's like a wave of information starts coming to me. Is there a Bill?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Well, there are several, but the
William?
the
Bill.
one right now, Bill, is a tap dancer, and
Is he going to be famous, or is he?
no,
What, do you work with him? Why am I getting that?
I don't know. There was another Bill who did become famous.
Did you
He was a
help him?
playwright. No, we were just
You were
students
just
together.
friends?
Yeah, friends.
I don't know. There's just a bunch of things coming at me at once. I feel like your uncle and your dad are here. I just don't know your dad's name, but I feel like your dad is here. And I feel like you were expecting your dad. Do you have his clock? Do you have a clock from your parents, or
I
a
have
watch?
I have my dad's
Pocket watch?
watch.
A
wrist
regular
watch.
watch. You've got your dad's watch.
I have
and
my
it,
dad's
And it
watch.
doesn't work right now?
Oh, it works.
It works. Okay. He's happy that he knows you've got his watch. That's why he's showing this to
Cool.
me. I see a clock or a watch. I don't always know what it is. Yeah, he knows you've got it. Now, your mom's deceased too?
Mm-hmm.
Were you closer to your dad
Mm-hmm.
than your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Was your mom a little jealous?
Mm-hmm.
I think she's here too, shyly, timidly approaching,
That's interesting.
because she knows she wasn't always the most supportive mom. But your dad was, it's almost like she was jealous of how much your dad loved you, which is really dysfunctional.
You think?
Wow. She very timidly is coming in, almost begging for forgiveness.
Mm.
Almost. She knows how wrong she was and how it screwed up a lot of your younger emotional being. You're great now and you learned from it, but she knows. All I can tell you is she knows.
Mm.
It's interesting, your dad and your mom are in different places. Your mom's in a different neighborhood than your dad.
Ah.
Did they have issues?
Yes and no. Yeah.
Well, your dad's still really proud of you, and your mom wishes she had been more proud of you.
I just did a reading with Char, and very early on, she brought into the room, the conversation, my very first dog, from the time I was 2 until I was 13. It was remarkable. She's very attuned. I thought of people I wanted to hear from before I came here, and she nailed them all. She is, it's what she does is, it's deep, it's so honest, she's very articulate, and she's a pleasure. She's a total pleasure to meet and to be read by.
Time goes so fast when we're having fun. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on CharVision.